If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, help is available. National Domestic Violence Hotline, 1-800-72-33. You are not alone. Support is available 24/7.
What's up, nieces and nephews? You are now tuned into episode 5. This is a Safe Place podcast. The title of this episode is Sleeping with a Monster, the Aneta Sproles story of survival. Let's get into it.
You are now listening to a Safe Place podcast, Culture Unplugged, hosted by Auntie Kat.
And now we're diving into 10 Seconds with Auntie Kat. This 10 seconds is coming from the heart. It's very personal. I just want to do a wellness check for all my 96, 98, 97 babies. We've literally been through hell. We went through COVID. We're going through Trump right now. All these high-ass bills and economy. Like, it's been hard on us. And so I just want to do a quick check-in. I just want to say I feel y'all's pain. I love y'all. Auntie Kat is here for y'all. And I'm praying for y'all. And y'all pray for me. Hell. Because with these high-ass bills, dealing with Trump, we done made it out of COVID, all these diseases. I mean, can we ever catch a break? God. Like, I kind of wish I was born through the crack epidemic at this point. Wish I was the 80s, baby. Because this shit is crazy. But yeah, so for my 10 seconds a day, shout out to my 97, 96, 95 babies, even 94. We here, and let's lean on each other. And yeah. That's it for 10 seconds. For the quote of the day, this quote is coming from, and y'all, if I mess this up, I'm so sorry, but Akashe Dubé, healing does not mean the damage never existed. It means the damage no longer controls our lives. This quote reminds us that healing isn't about pretending nothing happened. The pain was real. Okay, the damage existed, but healing is when the pain no longer controls how we think, love, and move through the world. Experience becomes part of our story, but it no longer divides us. And this leads right into the conversation of the day with my special guest on her survival journey with domestic violence. What's up, nieces and nephews? This is What's Tea, where we report nothing but the facts. Okay, so let's dive right into it. Quick shout out to Mackenzie Scott, who donated over $38 million to HBCUs across the United States. Scholarship, long-term support, the whole nine. Sis, you are definitely invited to the cookout, front of the line, and you could probably bring a dish or two, okay? Matter of fact, bring a whole meal, okay? Next, we're going to talk about Trump. No more hiding. Recent reporting indicates that documents connected to Jeffrey Epstein have resurfaced, referencing past communications and social connections involving Donald Trump. Trump has previously denied any wrongdoing. Media outlets and legal analysts continue reviewing the materials, and no new criminal charges have been announced. However, the internet has been paying attention. I know that's right, Lala. Lala Anthony has opened a re-entry center focused on supporting formerly incarcerated Black men, providing resources to assist with reintegration into the society, giving back, doing the work, and minding the community. We love to see it. Now, on social media, a crazy incident has taken place. We're talking about Richard Bebo Russell, who, following a plane hijacking incident in which he had no formal flight experience and refused to land safely. Condolences go out to his family and his loved one. Nicki for president. Nicki Minaj recently appeared at the White House, delivering remarks that had the internet buzzing, and the Barbs definitely clocked in on time. In the entertainment news today, Kandi Burruss and Todd Tucker have reportedly ended their marriage. Kandi Burruss, Grammy-winning songwriter, entrepreneur, and reality TV star, has reportedly filed for divorce from her husband, Todd Tucker, ending their marriage after more than a decade together. The couple, who met on The Real Housewives of Atlanta, share a daughter and also helped raise a child from previous relationships, making their family dynamic highly visible to the public. Reports indicate that the decision came after ongoing discussions about business pressures, conflicting priorities, and the challenges of balancing multiple ventures with the marriage. Both Candy and Todd have built extensive professional portfolios, which have often been a central topic on the show and in public conversations. At this time, neither party has engaged in public back and forth, and the situation appears to be moving through the legal process privately. Fans have taken notice largely because Candy has long been vocal about independence, financial literacy, and protecting her peace. Now, Granny always said, you lose them how you get them. And finally, Hazel E. and Blueface have reportedly gone their separate ways. Chapters closed, new pages loading. And we are at the end of What's Tea. All right, nieces and nephews, we are on the conversation segment of the episode. The episode is titled Sleeping with a Monster, Aneta Sproles, the survival story. And I have none other than Aneta Sproles with me. So welcome.
Thank you.
And she came all the way from D-Town, that is Dallas, Texas, as is. So it was a long flight, but thank you for coming. How was it? How was your flight experience?
It was actually good. Besides, I almost missed my second flight.
Uh-oh. What happened?
Shout out to the amazing security guard that came in like Superman with his wagon.
Shout out to him.
And he made sure I got here because I was so excited. I did not get sleep the night before because I was so excited to come.
Aww.
So yes.
No, I have been literally working on this episode for weeks. Your story is amazing, and I'm just so honored to have you on my platform to share it because I can't imagine how many people it's going to touch. So thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome.
Today's guest is Aneta Sproles. She is a powerhouse of resilience, advocacy, and purpose. Aneta Sproles is a CEO, best-selling author, and nationally recognized advocate for domestic violence awareness, healing, and women's empowerment. Through her lived experience, Aneta has transformed pain into purpose, dedicating her life's work to supporting survivors, rebuilding lives, and creating pathways to healing and independence. She is the founder of organizations focused on recovery, transitional living, and community empowerment. And her impact extends far beyond the page. Aneta is also the author of multiple books that are the center of survival, truth-telling, and reclaiming one's power, including her powerful and widely discussed book that we have right here, Sleeping with a Monster, which explores the realities of abuse, survival, and healing. Today, she joins us to share her story, her work, and the hard but necessary conversations around domestic violence, recovery, and what it truly means to heal. So please help me welcome Aneta Sproles to A Safe Place podcast. Welcome.
Thank you.
So we are going to dive right into it because time is of the essence, and it's just so much in this story that we need to dive into. So if you could just kind of start telling us about your childhood, where you grew up, what did your home look like, just the story of coming up in the household for you.
So I am originally from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Okay.
I grew up in a 2-parent household. And at 10, I was told that the man who I thought that my mom had married was my dad, that he wasn't my dad.
Wow.
So that was like, okay, wow.
How did that affect you? Like,
to be 10 to hear it after I was like, oh, dad, my dad. I was like at school, like, I was like, I got a 2-parent household. Hey, rude. I was like, I'm flexing. Y'all can't play with me. And like he had did all this stuff to take us out of a bad situation, me and my mom. And I was like, okay, I got the greatest father ever. He didn't run off. And then when I was 15, one of my other uncles was like, no, your granddad is your dad.
Wow.
And my mom, we literally like fell out for a lot of years because of that. Because I felt like
you should have,
I was like, even though I was a kid, there was a way you could have talked to me about it.
That resentment,
Yes.
And then like your dad was kind of always around technically, but you didn't even know that that was your, Okay. So at 15, you found out that your dad was your actual grandfather. Okay. And tell us about high school. Like, what was your vision for high school? Was it college, or were you just trying to make it out and get a job? What did that look like for you in high school? What was your goal?
In high school, I was ranked the top in debate and forensics.
Okay.
So I traveled a lot.
That's cool.
And my parents thought I was going to be the next Venus and Serena because I also was top in tennis.
Okay.
So I had like a lot of awards. They were like, "You're gonna go pro tennis," and I was like, "No, I want to be a doctor." And they were like, "No, you're gonna go pro tennis." And I'm like, "I don't know what's gonna happen."
Our parents already know what they want us to do. Yes. Like, before we even come out the womb, they already know what they want us to do. Yeah. Okay, so you played tennis and you were the top in your debate team. And so after you graduated, what was the next steps for you?
Well, when I graduated high school, I got a little surprise.
Okay.
I went to the doctor because at 14, the doctor told me that I would never be able to have children. They told my parents, they said there was something wrong with me as far as my uterus, how it was shaped. I would never be able to bear children. So I was like, well, that's down the drain. There we go.
Yeah.
But at 18, I went to the doctor and they were like, "You're pregnant."
Wow.
And I was like, "What?" And then my mom got sick like 2 weeks later and she went to the doctor. She was pregnant.
Wow.
So
at the same time.
Yes.
That's
so
insane.
My son and my sister are both the same age except months apart.
Wow.
And so, that's when my journey of having children started. And I had a child back to back repeatedly, some less than a year.
Okay.
I had an NFL team.
Wow. How many kids? What's the NFL team to you? Like, how many kids?
10.
Wow, 10 kids. Okay.
Yes.
10. 1,
Yes.
2, 3, 4, 5, 10 kids. That's awesome, though, to even be able to have that many. Like, that's awesome. Okay, so you had your kids, and then we're gonna dive into the book Sleeping with a Monster because that's kind of leads us into the story of your triumph moment of pushing through the domestic relationship. So let's talk about meeting your abuser. How did you meet him? And how did you guys start to get in a relationship?
I was at work.
Okay.
And we actually worked together. And we worked like right next door, so we always saw each other. And he was and I mean, not to say it like that, but I'm just being transparent. He wasn't my type. Okay. Like he was like 450. I'm thinking like, oh no, wait. I'm used to the muscular, tall, cute guys I be dating.
Yeah.
And he just was like, "Yeah, how you doing? Let me get your number." I was like, "Oh, I don't know." And he was really persistent. And I was okay. I was like, "I'm gonna give him a chance." I was like, "It could be something. I don't know."
Yeah.
So that's how we ended up meeting, was we were working together.
Okay. And so did you guys just end up kind of talking through work and then kind of to get outside of work? Or what made you start to say, "Ooh, I'm starting to feel this guy. I'm attracted to him. I want to grow into something a little deeper"?
He asked for what my favorite candy was one day.
Okay.
And I was like, he is just really in my business. And so I told him, and he was like, "Oh," he's like, "Okay, cool."
Okay.
So like 2 days later, he came back. And he was like, "You come get in my car. I got something for you." So he had like this gigantic bear. It was Valentine's Day. He had this gigantic bear, all my favorite candy. And he just leans over and give me this kiss. And he's like, "I'm in love with you."
Aww.
And I was like, "Oh." Yeah. I was like, "You putting it on real strong, Barry White."
With the gifts? Okay.
I said, "Okay, Barry."
Okay.
And so that's how that ended up happening. I was like, "Okay, so I'm going to give him a chance because he's trying really hard." I was like, "I'm not just going to turn him down." And so that's how that began.
Okay. So when you think back on your relationship with him, how did the abuse begin to start showing itself? Like, how did you start to notice that something's not right here? It's getting a little toxic.
I believe when I moved in with him and his children.
Okay.
And he began to turn from like the loving guy I had met at work to more of like, "I kind of got you where I want you now." Because now you're in the house, and it was his house at the time. So it was like, "I got you here, and like now my kids are here, so like you're never gonna go anywhere." And then 6 weeks into the relationship, he busted my head upside a wall in front of his children.
I'm so sorry.
And that was like a wow moment for me.
Yeah.
So
going from the love of your life to busting your head up against the wall.
Yeah.
Okay. So, when you experience the abuse, people often don't recognize or talk about it enough. What forms of abuse did you endure? Because there's different types. There's physical, there's emotional. What forms did you endure with him in the relationship?
Physical, mental, emotional, financial.
Okay.
So it was just an array of a lot of different types of abuse, and it was like it's severely like extreme. So like something like you would watch on like a Lifetime movie extreme.
Can you tell us about the financial? Like, what type of abuse was it? Was it like controlling your finances, or how
So
did?
like he would purposely make me lose jobs.
Mm,
If I got money, he would purposely take it and disappear with it.
mm,
Just so I couldn't have it.
mm,
So it was really bad.
okay. So you kind of felt like you didn't have control of your own finances. It was like everything that you made for yourself, he had control over it.
Yes.
And you felt kind of like stuck as you was, okay. Okay. So how did that relationship impact like your sense of identity and self-worth? Like, what damage did that do to you self-wise, like inside?
I think I completely lost myself. I didn't know who I was anymore. I hated taking pictures with my kids because I looked so terrible. I didn't even recognize myself in the mirror when I would get up.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, "Oh, you're just so ugly now, and this is why I do stuff I do." And it was like I just felt like I had totally lost myself trying to love somebody and please them and thinking that if I loved them more, it would stop. And then
Yeah.
it just got worse.
Yeah, I think all women have been there where we feel like if we just love them more, if we just kind of like do what they say, maybe like the relationship would be better. In actuality, you're kind of like damaging your self-worth to be with somebody. It's
Yeah.
kind of like that codependent relationship,
Yeah.
and that could be toxic. That could be very toxic with the wrong person.
Yeah.
So we're gonna move into what the leaving part, the turning point in the relationship. Was there a moment when something inside of you shifted and you knew like, okay, I have to choose myself. Like I have to get out of this for me, for my kids. What was the turning point? Was it an incident that you had with him, or were you by yourself? Were you just like, was it like a light bulb, or was it gradually kind of growing?
I would say the incident that made me say I'm fed up and I got to get out of this was me and him had broke up. I had divorced him. He begged me to come back. I went back to him, and this was last year actually. And he attacked me and tried to strangle me to death. And I was like, I'm not doing this no more. I'm not even your wife anymore. I will not.
Yeah.
And I just finally said, I'm going to stand up for myself. And I did what I had to do. And I said, I'm never looking back. And I haven't looked back since.
So it was just kind of like you went back and you wanted to work it out, but it was the same thing, and you didn't want to endure that anymore.
Yeah.
That's powerful. So after you left, was it just kind of like he went his way and you went your way, or was it he was still trying to get back with you? You kind of were still communicating, or was it just kind of like cold turkey?
No, the way that we actually ended for good was because he attacked me and the police finally arrested him.
Okay.
After in our relationship, there was a total of 544 police reports in different states.
Oh my
And he
gosh.
didn't get arrested until last year
544 police reports.
over a 4.5 year span. And no arrest ever made until last year for the first time.
Wow. Wow. And I know you told me we kind of communicated before on Zoom. Can you talk about how many times that in the relationship you experienced like near death experiences?
So I have survived death at the hands of him 21 times, whether it's been physical or him trying to drug me or poison me to die.
Wow. And what was the poisoning? Can you talk about that? Like, did you notice it, or was it like an after effect? Like, was it in your food, or?
So either he would beat me and force me to use drugs, or he would put drugs in my food or things that I was drinking, but he would put such high amounts that I would go like up into a paralysis where I would be in bed for days. I couldn't move, couldn't call anybody. And a lot of times it was close to like the OD status.
Yeah.
So when I went to the hospital, they would have to flush my system out several times. And then they would be like, well, what do we do? And he would be like, well, my wife's just a drug addict and she just likes this. So,
wow. So, wow. That's insane.
yeah.
And I'm so sorry that you had to experience that. When when did you know that he was drugging you? Like, was it did the hospital tell you? Did you feel funny, or did you recognize that you were being drugged, or were you cognitive of it?
So in the beginning, I didn't know he was on cocaine and ecstasy pills.
Okay.
And he was trying to hide it. Well, at first he started to put ecstasy pills in things that I was eating and taking, and I didn't know. And I was like, why do I feel like this? So I started to hallucinate. And I remember one night I was hallucinating so bad, I thought it was everything you could think of crawling
That's
on
so
me,
scary.
on the
Yeah.
walls. And he started laughing. And I said, why are you laughing? I don't feel well. I need to go to the hospital. He said, you're not going to the hospital. He said, you're high off ecstasy. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? I said, I've never did drugs a day in my
Wow.
life. And he said, you don't even have a clue everything that's been in your system. He said, you're an addict now. And he said, it's only going to get worse, I promise you. He said, and this is what our life is going to be.
So after you left him, was that something that you continued to deal with? Was the drug abuse, like, was it hard to wean off of it, or did you have like after effects from it after you?
So when I finally left him last year, it wasn't hard because I really never ever wanted to do drugs. I've never came from like that kind of upbringing.
Okay.
So I never wanted to do it. It was more like always a forced thing for those years. So when I finally got away from him, it was like, okay, it was like fine. It was like, I don't want to do that stuff anyway. But the after effects that happened was a lot of the side effects from the drugs, because they were such harsh drugs. At times I still experience side effects where if I hear a loud noise, I may jump.
Yeah.
If something like I may smell a fragrance or something, I may start to break out, or I may itch because so much toxic drugs went into my system over the years, and my body wasn't used to that.
Yeah.
So there's still lingering effects even all this time later.
And the trauma from that had to be insane. Like, just trusting, like not being able to trust, that's serious. And I know you had said when you spoke to the police, can you let my audience know, there was a statement that the police officer said to you, and it still resonates with me today. And from that Zoom call weeks ago that we had, can you tell them what the police officer said to you when he met you? And I'm honestly, I feel the same exact way. How did you survive that much abuse? And that's why I wanted you on my platform, because your story is so powerful.
Yeah.
The resilience is insane. What did the police officer say to you when he got caught out there for the last incident?
The officer just didn't understand how I had made it through that. And then I remember the officer, the last thing he said when they had him in the car, he said, "You're so much better than this." And after this, he said, "A lot of people are going to look up to you."
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, I sometimes don't know how I survive, but I think keeping my children in the back of my mind the whole time.
Yeah.
I said, I can't let them kill me. I said, I do not want to die. Even in my book, I put that. I fought so hard to stay alive.
Yeah.
Because I did not want my children to come to my funeral.
So your kids were that light at a dark tunnel.
Yes.
Your kids were the motivation to push through everything that you've been through.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. So I want to, guys, this is on Amazon. Run, Do Not Walk. Please support Aneta Sproles. This book is, I bought it on Amazon. It is life-changing. I'm just going to read you guys a snippet of what the book's about. So, in Sleeping with the Monster, My Story of Survival, Aneta Sproles courageously opens the door to a life lived in shadow of terror and pain. What begins as a seemingly normal relationship slowly transforms into a nightmare as Aneta finds herself entangled in an abusive partnership with someone who becomes the monster in her life. Through her deeply personal narrative, she sheds light on the emotional, physical, and psychological toll that abuse takes on a person. The book recounts Aneta's harrowing journey from denial and confusion to awareness and the eventful determination to reclaim her life. I know that's right. With raw honesty, she describes the challenges of leaving the fear of the unknown and the strength it takes to break free. Yet, despite the overwhelming darkness, this is a story of survival and hope. As she shares her painful experience, Aneta also highlights the healing process, that an ongoing struggle, but one filled with moments of clarity, growth, and empowerment. Sleeping with the Monster is not just an account of abuse. I love how you said, I don't want y'all to just focus on the negative. I want you to see the triumph through the negative and how you can learn. I love that statement. It is so powerful because you're turning something that could be so damaging, that could literally take someone out, and as a healing side to it. That's a beautiful statement. It is a testimony to the resilience of the human spirit and a beacon of hope for others trapped in a similar situations. In this powerful memoir, Aneta reveals how she rediscovered her voice, rebuilt her life, and learned that survival is more than just escaping. It's about reclaiming your power and embracing the strength within to move forward. This book is both a personal story and a call to action for anyone who has ever felt powerless in the face of abuse. So if you have experienced any form of abuse and you feel like you're suffocating and you feel like you can't climb out of it, number one, watch this episode. Okay, we have a prime example of someone, and you look beautiful, by the way. So you don't even look like what you've been through, and that's a testimony in itself. And then read this book. It will resonate with you. It is a powerful book. And we're actually going to do a giveaway. So once we drop this episode on Instagram, we're going to do a giveaway. And the instructions will be underneath the post for someone to win this awesome book. So thank you for bringing it, and thank you for letting my audience have a choice to grab it. And so we'll put the link for Amazon on the description so they can click it and support you. Okay, so we're almost at the end. Okay. So I want to talk about the healing and the recovery part of this, because that is a big part of your story as well. What did healing actually require from you beyond just moving on or getting out of the relationship?
It required me to sit with the ugly parts, to also look at what I could have did different.
Yeah.
To really just say, oh, I gotta feel it all. I gotta let it all out.
Right.
And as much as I want to be mad and angry at what happened, I gotta let it all out, and I gotta push myself to heal. So just sitting with that process and really doing the work.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta face the monster.
Yeah.
And look it dead in the face and stand up and then advocate.
Yes.
Yeah, advocate. Okay, so give me some unhealthy coping mechanisms that you had to unlearn to get out of the situation that you were in. That you had to say, okay, this isn't healthy, and this isn't right, and you kind of switched it to healthy coping skills. What are some unhealthy coping skills that you had to unlearn to break free of the abuse?
I think the learning by myself how to wean myself off such hard drugs I had never been on before. Learning the importance of not having codependency because the drugs made me so codependent on him. Just unlearning all that and finding myself again and finding my strength and really doing the work to properly heal.
So did you have to do like substance abuse counseling to get wean off, or was it more of a personal thing? You took it personal?
It was more of a personal thing for me because I think for so long I never wanted it. So it was so easy to be like, okay, finally I'm not forced to do it anymore, so I can be okay.
Yeah. Okay. That's awesome. Okay, so what role did therapy or your faith or your community play in your healing process?
I would say God and my faith played a big role because my grandmother is so religious. She always tells
shout
you
out to Granny, man. Shout out to all grannies across. They don't understand how much we lean on them for everything. Yeah, that's awesome.
My entire life, my grandmother always, no matter what happened, if she was in the worst situation, she would go pray and say, I'm going to give it to God. I'm going to be okay. And you do the same. And going through this, since it was something I had never been through in my life before, and it was so traumatic, I just prayed. And I said, God, heal me, whatever I got to go through and face to heal. God, I am trusting you with this situation.
That's awesome. That's an awesome story and testimony, really. So what boundaries now do you have up to protect yourself that you didn't have up before when you were in the relationship you were in?
I think now I have more of a cautious boundary. Um, and I still have some work to do, I would say, on that boundary. But I believe now I am healed a lot more than what I was before because I was so broken.
Yeah.
So,
And if you can sit here and tell your story, that shows so much healing in itself. So yeah, that's powerful. So I want to dive into the business side of things because you're doing big things in your community, and I definitely want to tap into it. And then I want to also talk about some other books that you have out. So let's first talk about the work that you're doing in the community. Can you let us know about your nonprofit that you have and kind of what's the mission behind it, and some other projects that you're working on or in the future?
So I have a nonprofit. It's called ADE Recovery and Transitional Living.
Okay.
And I started that actually when I was in my abusive relationship.
Wow.
I said, when I get out of this, I'm going to help others, whether they're going through addiction, whether they're going through domestic violence. I'm going to use my voice and I'm going to save others' lives. So I created it and I kind of was like, well, I don't know when I'm ever get out of this. I don't know if it's even going to happen.
Yeah.
But now I do a lot of work in the community with helping other women get out, helping others to get off drugs, and just really speaking life back into those who feel like they have lost everything.
That's awesome. Can you share the website? Do you know the website by head?
Yes,
Or, okay.
It's ADERecoveryoutreach.org.
And we'll put that on the bottom of the screen so you guys can look it up, and then we'll put it in the caption as well. So is that the only project you have out, or is there other things you're working on?
Well, what I would call myself a business mogul. Well, everybody calls me that as well.
Yes, you are. CEO, big CEO. Yes. Big CEO, honey.
So I have my own health and wellness products that I make.
Awesome. What are some products that you make?
So I make lip balm, bath bombs.
Okay.
I do body butter.
Okay.
So I make all natural products, and they're geared with their scents that I make. They are geared towards purposely if you have dealt with trauma, if you need to relax, it automatically from what you're smelling, what you're putting on your body, it helps you to relax. So yes,
because people don't realize that things like lavender and like eucalyptus, those things like can really calm you down.
Yes,
like I use I have eucalyptus candles all around my house, and just the smell, like I automatically, like I'm at peace. And if I use the body wash, like I'm at peace. Like that stuff really works. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So tell us some of your other books that I know you just dropped a book just recently. Tell us about that.
Okay. So I just came out with a book to discuss what I went through when I was going through drug addiction.
Okay.
When I was going through abuse. And it is just to express to people who are going through drug addiction. Mine's per se was about meth, because that's what I had to deal with. And so it's a book to help you to kind of just sit with yourself, because everybody doesn't want to go into those groups. They don't want to go in front of other people. So sometimes it's like a journal. It's also like affirmations. It also tells my story. And it's kind of a guide to help people who really want to get themselves clean to get clean.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I could kind of see you like in the future, like kind of coming up with some like rehab facility, like even if it's small or big, just to help people. Because I mean, when you've gone through something and you're at the end, what better person to come in and guide someone else through it? Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so we're at the end. I wish I feel like we've known each other for so long, and we could just keep going and going and going and going.
Yeah.
So I want to because at the end of my conversations, I want my listeners to walk away with something and feeling encouraged and empowered. And what would you say to someone who recognized part of your story in their own life?
I would say no matter what it looks like, you can definitely get yourself out of it. You can change how your story ends. Never give up the faith in God and never let go of the strength that's there. Even if it's a little bit, you can use that to change how your story ends.
That's awesome. And for survivors who feel broken, what truth do you want them to hear?
That you are okay, that you will be okay, that you were enough. It had nothing to do with you, that you can start over as many times as you need to, and that healing is not overnight.
Come on, say that again.
Healing is not overnight.
Say that again.
It comes with the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yes,
some days are better than others, but you can do it.
That's awesome. Thank you we done cried on here.
Yes.
And it's a part of it. And I think it's so beautiful. Let us know where we could find you on social media. Share your platforms where people can connect with you. I know your books are on Amazon. You guys, again, Sleeping with a Monster, My Story of Survival, Run, Don't Walk. But share your socials. Where could they find you? Are you on Instagram, YouTube? Okay. And shout out your podcast too now. Okay. She got a little podcast, y'all.
Okay, I am on IG as Wealthy Aneta.
Okay.
I am on Facebook as Aneta the Empire Builder Sproles.
Okay.
I am on YouTube and I'm on Spotify, Life with Aneta podcast.
Okay.
And I just added a new thing to my resume, which is music artist management.
Awesome. Do you have artists?
Yes, my artist is actually, he's a Dallas legend, Big Spain. Out of Dallas.
Spain?
Yes.
Is it rap?
Yes, he's a rapper.
Okay, I'm gonna have to tap into that. Shout out to Big Spain. Okay. What made you want to get into music?
I've always been a lover of music.
Okay.
And so, a lot of people, they want to get into music for like just the music aspect. I'm more of like the business, marketing, branding lady.
Yes.
And so people kind of love that about me. So they're like, yes, I need you as my manager. You're great.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I wish you the best with your journeys and your projects that you have. It's only up from here. I know God has his hand on you. Your resilience, your strength, it resonates with me. I honestly, like, when you DM'd me, it was kind of like God sent, and I knew that not only would my audience be healed from this, I would be healed too. So I want to thank you for coming on A Safe Place and sharing your platform and your story. You are a beautiful individual inside and out. God has his hands on you, and I can't wait to see what Aneta does in the future. So with that being said, you guys, we are at the end. Thank you so much for coming, and we're going to jump right into the verse of the day. Now we're on the verse of the day. This verse comes from Psalm 34:19. The righteous person may have many troubles, but the Lord delivers him from them all. This verse reminds us that faith doesn't mean a trouble-free life. It tells us we will face hardships, but guess what? It almost promises that we won't face them alone. Deliverance doesn't always come the way we expect or on our timeline, but God is faithful in carrying us through every season. And if you're in the middle of a battle right now, this verse is a reminder that trouble is temporary and deliverance is certain. I want to thank you all for listening and tuning in, and a very special thanks for Aneta for coming on, her bravery, her transparency, and for using her story to help someone out there who may be experiencing abuse and searching for the strength to leave. We are only 4 episodes away, you guys, from the end of season 1, and episode 6 is on the way, and you don't want to miss it. I know I say that every episode, y'all, but seriously, you don't want to miss it. We'll be diving into the world of Black excellence, dance, and passion. So subscribe, ring that bell, share, follow us on all platforms. We're on YouTube. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're everywhere. And see you next time.
Thanks for tuning in to the Safe Place podcast. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on all platforms. We're back every other Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time with your host, Auntie Kat. Follow us on Instagram. Links in bio.